are back with another episode of the Warlock Horrors.
Yes.
Okay, we are here with a special guest. We have Mr. Dre Lloyd in the building.
That's right. What's good? What's good?
You see him, artist, does many things. Go ahead, tell the people about yourself.
Yeah, so for all those who don't know, I go by the name of Dre Lloyd. I'm an artist from South Jersey area. You know what I'm saying? But as far as rapping is concerned, that's what I can offer, you know, vocally. But I am, you know, much more than that. You know what I mean? And you'll definitely get a chance to see that on this episode, hopefully. So, hello to all the viewers out there. I hope you enjoy the conversation.
Dope. How you doing, Yaezy?
I'm doing great.
We here to learn today. We gonna learn some things.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I have no complaints. Things are mellowing out in life.
Yes.
Boss man right now was telling me I need to be looking into the microphone, looking into the camera, speaking into the mic. So I'm gonna get it together.
Put it towards your mouth. Make it closer.
Pull it closer to your mouth.
Pull it a little closer.
Okay.
It's okay.
Today we are talking about the Hermetic principles. There are 7 of them, and we are going to kick it off. We're just going to jump right into it. No conscious cards today.
Yes.
The first law we have is mentality. The all is mind. Universe is mental. Dre, you want to kick it off with your understanding of what that law represents?
Okay, so the Hermetic principles, you know, trace back to BC times, of course, like, you know, thousands of years BC times. So today, you know, some of those things, even though it's been heavily watered down, some of those principles you can still find in the Masonic degrees. Okay, me being, you know, someone who was a part of a few different, you know, Masonic and you know, secret orders, I guess, if you will. It's basically it's like a high level of teachings that can help us or whoever the initiates were to grasp what we call life, our understanding of reality. You know, yes. So that's basically what it is. Like, you know what I mean, for the most part. So it kind of just goes into detail on, you know, helping describe what it is that we're experiencing, you know, throughout our lifetime.
I love how you sum that up. The seven principles are basically tools that we can use to navigate through life and make it work out for our better benefit.
Yeah, it just kind of helps you make sense of things you can't understand.
Ja.
So
Mentalism. Mentality.
It is supposed to be like mentalism and like the mind is the all. And obviously it's, I mean, in certain aspects, if you go through it, okay, it's not necessarily talking about like the physical mind, but the idea of, you know, the role that the human mind or brain, you know, plays, okay, and how it intertwines with how we understand, you know, the universe. So you know, we kind of we have to keep in mind that the majority of the different religions that are out here, you know, and that are still present, you know, in today's time, are different concepts of spirituality and different things, you know, and our understanding of who we would like to believe God is or the higher power is, are all things that, you know, we create to help understand the unexplainable. Okay, so this is the reason why a lot of times when we have, you know, supernatural experiences or having certain dreams or, you know, certain things that we might not just want to chalk up as, you know, being like a coincidence, is that we're like, oh man, it must be God. You know what I'm saying? It's only God. You know, what else was it unless it was God? You know what I'm saying? Oh man, something told me that, and it's just, you know, this is what it is. I actually wrote a paper on this, and basically the name of the paper was, "Are we truly ready for peace?" I have to share it with you later.
Dope.
And it challenges our understanding and what we believe to be true as it pertains to us as a human race in relation to, you know, quote unquote divine forces that we can't see. Yeah, that we can't see, that we can't touch.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so when it comes down to it, you know, the first, you know, principle, you know, mentalism and, you know, the mind is the all or whatever, is that, you know, that's pretty much going to be like the foundation of the 7. It's the underlying thread that's woven into the fabrics of what we would like to believe is reality, what our reality is. That's exactly what the principle is going over for the most part.
So the way that I understood with the Hermetics and then translating over into the universal laws was everything is connected.
Sure.
There's a oneness. There's a collective consciousness, like trends or emotions. When you feel the tension bubbling up outside in the real world, it's because at this point the world is feeling it. So we're impacted by that in a sense.
Okay.
Would you say that is a part of mentalism?
It's kind of, for people who are ready to read, like I said, if you actually got like the book I showed you, like the Kabbalion or whatever, it really, it's like a whole chapter that really goes into the teachings or whatever, and it basically goes into what we call, like you said, like the oneness, the all. Yeah. The all being the creator. You know what I'm saying? The thing
the many names, yeah.
Yes, the many names. But the thing is that we a lot of time, well, what we do is, again, we anthropomorphize the
I need that definition. We what now?
It's okay. So basically, like when you go through like the Bible and different things like that, right? Yeah. It'll say has different references, like in the face of God. Or, I'm saying, God stretches out his hand and does different things. God doesn't have a hand. He doesn't have a face. So what we do is we pretty much like attach human attributes.
Our own understanding, so that we can wrap our minds around
exactly.
it. Yeah.
So it's a difference between, what it goes into that chapter. It's a different. All this shit is coming back to me now because I haven't going over this in years.
Alignment. it just is so dope that you happen to be. You studied this.
Sure,
This is the topic today, so
yeah, for sure.
Excuse me.
No, that's cool. So it's the difference between finite and infinite. Okay, so us being finite beings, this is we have a beginning and we have an ending. We have a point where we reach our peak in life. From the day that we're born and until we get to that transition to where we start to slow down or whatever until we go back into our starting point back into the ground.
What is
right. So basically, like us compared to that, we cannot, as human beings, we can't begin to even understand like what that thing is.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? This is the reason why I can. What's 1 + 1?
2.
What's 2 + 2?
4.
And that's only because we've been taught that.
No, but check this out. But check this out.
Numbers matter though.
Right, numbers matter, but check this out. So, regardless of what language you speak, right? Math is universal, right? Across the board, right? But when you start talking about God, who God is, what God is, who his chosen people are, did he even send anybody, you're going to get thousands of different answers.
Yes.
And we can't agree on that, which means what? That our ideas, you feel me, aren't necessarily definitive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's our truth is how we understand things. Certain groups of people, gravitate towards each other because their ideas are similar.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I can that makes sense to me or whatever. So I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. I'm a Muslim. I'm a whatever the case may be. I'm a Buddhist and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's not necessarily a bad thing because people feel like they need that to belong, and it gives them a sense of guidance.
Right.
I used to think when I went through my phase of discovering the laws and straying away from Christianity, I thought, small-minded. Why are they just viewing things one way? It's so many other, but I'm more accepting of knowing it's because it's community. It's because, so.
Right. Now we need a way to like communicate with each other. So, religion, and nationality, identity, and everything else in between that falls under that umbrella is just the way that we communicate with each other. So it's no because those similarities or whatever are the threads that is the glue that hold families together. It opens up lanes and avenues for conversations that can start new relationships. But it's also like the major divide, amongst the human race as a whole.
Yes, it is.
So
it's crazy how that works out.
It's the truth. And so when it comes down to it, to prove my point, those similarities hold people together. So if we were in a room, if you walked in a room and there was 50, white people in a room, and what's your nationality?
Black and white.
Black and white. Okay. So if you've seen someone who had thick hair, like yours, different facial features and shit like that, you feel me, similar to yours, who are you naturally gonna like gravitate towards? Someone who looks like you that's in the room?
Honestly, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna tell you like this:
from being familiar with it.
If I walk into a room and it's 50 white dudes in there, and I see the one for lack of a better term, black dude, you know what I'm saying? I'm going right to him. You know what I'm saying? Without even thinking about it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, he looks like me. He might think like me. And we can start the conversation off in a way to where, like, we can say certain things that only, like, you know, culturally we might be able to, we coming from, like, the same place or whatever. So it's like, it just, it's comfortable.
Home.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like
It's home.
Yeah,
Family.
Yeah, for sure. Family.
Yeah. Yeah. Mentalism. We're gonna bring it back. I already know. Great speaker.
Thank you.
Grateful to have you.
I appreciate y'all for having me.
Mentality. Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that?
I'm sitting here
So-
learning. I'm absorbing everything right now.
It's awesome to be a student.
Yes.
Mentality. The all is mine. Basically, I want to make sure that I'm digesting it too from what you're speaking. I heard of the book and doing the studies for this episode. How do you pronounce?
The Kabbalion.
The Kabbalion. I'm going to put that on my list on Amazon.
I'll let you borrow it.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, it's in the car. You brought it in a whip. We going to school today. But just to digest and spit it back out, mentalism is using our perception of things. Creating the information that we're receiving is creating our reality.
It's like the God concept.
God concept. Okay. The oneness.
The oneness,
God
yes.
concept. Okay. The next law we're going to move on to is correspondence. The law of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. I believe. I'm familiar with this one. I believe your intention will bring the outcome, the desired outcome. I believe how we are on this realm, we're rewarded or we go on to something similar. I don't know if it's coming out right. In life and in death, your heart and your actions, your thought and your actions. Is that coming out right?
Well, yeah, for what you're saying, yes, I understand what you're saying. Definitely understand.
What is your dissect that for me? Law of correspondence.
Well, my only point of reference is the actual book. So as above, so below is, okay, if you were to step outside, you know, in the middle of the night and you were to look up and see the stars and shit like that, or stars and things like that, everything that you can find that they say exists in the universe, you can find, you know, in yourself. Okay. So, I mean, it's just, well, what I'm saying is that, you know, the different things that are even, that come from the ground, different things that you can find, like different gases and shit like that you can find in the universe or whatever, is actually like what we're made of. You know what I'm saying?
So
As human
no
beings.
separation, basically.
No, yeah. So as above, you know what I'm saying, so below, everything that you see in the outer space or whatever has, it's like an ingredient when it comes to the planet Earth and us as human beings. That's why you can find, like, you know, we have like gold and shit like that, like in us,
Stardust,
iron
crystals
and everything
in our
like
mind,
that. Yeah, all that stuff is like in our, like it's
Our makeup.
it is our makeup.
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
is a thing. It's not like a, you know,
It's so intelligent. The design, all of it.
yeah, it's intentional. I would say it was intentional.
That's when it gets that when we go back to mentalism, the first law, and it's like just the idea of God and a creator, and we put these titles on it because that's the only way that we can understand it as humans.
Yeah,
But it's so
it's
hard
so
to wrap your mind
abstract.
around.
But
Yeah.
and that's what
Abstract.
So when you, so I'm gonna give you the paper, but the thing is that what I was talking about is that what my whole purpose of me asking that question, are we truly ready for peace, is that most people, you know, will have they create, like, I don't believe that we have a purpose that's like outlined for us by someone or something that's greater than us. I believe that we make our own purpose, you know what I'm saying, based off of what we believe and accept to be the truth. So when it comes down to it, as I was outlining in the paper, it's like pretty much it's like, you know, it came a point in time to where our minds, you know, as a collective, you know, started to develop to the point where we started, you know, questioning, okay, where it is that we came from. You know what I mean? What was, you know, what is our purpose, you know, here on this planet? Now, if you think about how the world is now, you know, even though it's still chaos and shit like that, imagine how, you know, it would be if there wasn't a belief in God by a lot of, you know, Muslim followers, Christian followers, you know, people of the book, period.
Yeah.
Okay, if people really thought that there was no real consequence for what they did here on Earth, you feel me, while they're here, the same thing that would happen to this planet and society will be the same thing that would happen, you know, with a like a 10-year-old child or whatever who knew that he could act up in school and he's not gonna get his ass whooped or whatever, that somebody can take and rob, kills, and everything else or whatever. And there's no prisons. You see what I'm saying? It would be chaos.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, you know, we create as a people, you know, create these systems
That's
that
all
we now
systems,
call, you know, religions, you know, organized religions, Western, you know, Easternized religions, spiritual systems that keep us in line, you know.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've learned when I was going through, shout out to the MST of A, you know, the Moorish Science Temple of America, when I went through that for a couple of years.
Say that slower.
Moorish Science Temple of America, for all those who are who might be looking for answers as to why we as a people here in America are called Black, you know, people of color, African Americans. We don't necessarily have a real identity, you know, national origin. You know, that can be the start to help you find, you know, those answers if you're trying to figure out who you are.
Super
and
dope.
Yeah, and why, you know, everybody else can say I'm Chinese, I'm Polish, I'm German, I'm, you know what I'm saying, Honduran, Mexican, Panamanian, and then you have to give them a color when it comes to, you know, it comes time to define who you are. Okay? So it was a chapter when it was okay, so it was a chapter in the book that was talking about tools or whatever that we use to build up character. Okay, it's used in the workshop, you know, of the mind, and it was talking about how I believe, if I'm saying it correctly, the compass is used to draw circles around our passions and desires to keep them within the bounds of righteousness, and then the square is used to build, I think, straighten out the crooked places of the way. I forgot what it was, but the compass or whatever is important, because that represents, you know, religion, spiritual systems in general. Like, you know what I'm saying? These are things that we created to make sense.
I love it when it's just a basic formula and it could be applied to all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to see the diaphragm.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to see the diaphragm.
Yeah, I got you. That what I said. I'm long-winded, so you know
all
what
good,
I mean?
good. It's all educational. You're not saying nothing that isn't necessary to. Hopefully, the purpose of this episode is just to raise awareness. Hopefully, you can hit us up. We'll share it in our story, what the principles are. You can use these tools to better your life. You're working with the universe. You're working with the higher power. That's what this is. Correspondence, as above, so below. As below, so above. I really loved how you touched on just the makings of who we are and what we're made of, and how we really are like stardust. Yeah. Like, we're really electrical beings. It's wild.
It's the truth.
It is the truth.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think about that. They're just caught up in their day-to-day routines and got to pay this bill, got to do that. They don't look in the mirror and they don't see themselves and question, well, what am I and how does this operate and where does this, you know?
Yeah.
It's important.
I think it's like thousands. I don't know if it's thousands or millions of pounds of stardust that falls to the planet every day.
How?
I don't know if it's thousands or millions. It says in the book, but it's every day.
And we are impacted. We are impacted by those things. The unseen solar flares, we're impacted by all of that. I'll move right on along. The law of vibration, one of my favorites. Nothing rests, everything moves. The law of vibration.
Yeah.
Frequency.
Yeah.
How you are embodied in this world, what your emotions are through your day, that is your vibration. How you feel is usually the indicator of what your vibrational, where you are on the vibrational spectrum. Any thoughts?
Oh, you should.
You got something to say about vibration?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Jump in when you're ready.
Yeah. Nah, it's just talking about pretty much like matter. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, I think I don't know if it's the faster something vibrates. Like, I think
momentum.
Well, it's more so about like the density of like certain like objects and shit.
Oh, you getting into physics now?
Yeah, well, yes, that's what
really?
it was talking about. Yeah, that's basically what it was talking about. It's basically I think if I'm not saying, if it's not this way, it's in reverse. Because like I said, I'm sorry, but it's, you know, been a little bit. But
the waves.
I think the slower something vibrates, the more dense it is or whatever, and becomes like something like physical, like to where like, okay, you can push this or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can push this chair or whatever, this is, you know, vibrating, you know, super slow or whatever. But if it vibrates
like
fast
or sound, like you can't even see.
You can't see sound. But if something is vibrating, fast, then you start getting, abstract being like, like what we call spirits and, different things like that. I forgot what, it's a lot deeper, but I forgot actually like the rest of it.
The higher, I feel like it's very trendy on social media right now, and I'm not even mad at that. I'm not mad at spirituality or the idea or conversation of vibration being a trendy topic, because it's necessary. Because when we look at the 7 principles and we see mentalism or a divine oneness, which is a more modern term, that vibration matters, and what you do individually on a day-to-day impacts the rest of us. It's like you said, a thread and a blanket. It's all connected. So our vibrations matter.
Yeah.
Our maintenance, our spiritual hygiene. I talk about this a lot. Those are things that you do to make sure that you're cleaning your vibration. Very important.
Yes.
Your vibration, and that plays a big role in manifestation. When we talk about manifestation, it's not just about sitting and hoping. It's about getting yourself in tune as if you already live it, as if it's already happening. Like that vibration, you want to see yourself and put yourself in that space, and that's when it starts to happen. That's where like the law of attraction comes in. Polarity.
Pretty much your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes, your vibe attracts everything. It does. And I'm noticing that play out in my life. Like the other day, I posted a status on Facebook. I'm like, I lovingly detach from friendships that no longer resonate with my frequency, and I'm open and receptive to the new divine connections, because I understand I'm coming to a different frequency, and the places I used to and the people I used to, it don't match, and it's a lot of resistance, and I could feel that shit in my body.
Yeah. Real talk.
Yeah. So keep raising that vibration, and then you'll find yourself in places where you're having conversations with dope people like Dre Lloyd, and it just resonates. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's just growth, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody grows at different,
journey.
That grows at different rates and different directions. Like, you know what I mean? So
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's really what it is. I think because, today, that's why we see a lot of people who, there's other reasons why the divorce rate is high, but I think that because people don't really know.
Let's go. Come on, let's go. Side pocket conversation.
Nah, real talk. we can get into that. You feel me? Real talk. But I think that's really because people are constantly changing. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you find yourself in situations with people who you're committed to, on an intimate level. And you don't break away from it because it's like a thing to where, like, you being comfortable, it's like, I really don't want to start over. Like, do I really want to go out there and find somebody else and shit like that? You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'm already here. I'm good.
That contentment, that contentment will.
Yeah, complacency, man.
When you're not growing, you're rotting. You're withering away if you're not growing.
Yeah.
But people's interest, and that's what I'm saying. So sometimes people might confuse, like, okay, I'm going in this direction, and the things that I'm starting to find myself like care about and put my energy into it, it's kind of like a I'm trying to think, it's kind of like a like, damn, why don't you care about this? Like, how don't you see the importance of what I'm doing? Like, you see what I'm saying?
I went through that.
Yeah, most people do.
I went through that almost 2 years ago. I ended a 10-year relationship, and it was because of that. Just growing and growing in two separate directions.
Yeah. Because you're changing. Like, you know what I mean? You're not going to be the same person. Yeah, it's inevitable. That's what I'm saying. So either the people who you're with can understand. Well, they don't necessarily have to be interested in the same shit that you're interested in. You know
just
what I'm saying?
open to
understanding and keep on like pushing you to go to that. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
That's all you like. It's not for you to jump on and say, this is my new hobby now because you like it. No, just support.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's it.
I like that little side pocket. We've been talking about relationships a lot on this podcast, so we try to do something. But somehow we find ourselves in our relationships. That shit is important, I guess. All right. Vibration. Nobody has anything else to add to that vibration?
Nah, I would have
Vibration is something we all have. It's
Do
not.
you think music affects your vibration?
Definitely, music is frequency. That is something
That's
that can.
true.
And we can get. You could probably appreciate this being a musician.
Yeah.
And I heard your bars, and I heard what you speak of. Like you're not. You speak wisdom. You speak like girl. You looking for a check. How you expect me to appreciate if this is you can't even like I heard, and I can appreciate that. Thank you. But the frequency of music. And I'm seeing a change. I'm not going to come hard for my culture, but that frequency is also keeping us distracted from what's important. In my opinion. Come on, Dre.
Okay, what would you say is important?
Self-knowledge, knowing thyself.
Applicable knowledge or just knowledge?
It depends. It depends on what we're talking about because some people, that is all they know, and that is their everyday reality. But I feel like we should have more artists that push seeking, push personal development, push looking in the mirror.
Have some that do, but
it's not promoted on the
Yeah.
mainstream media because
Yeah.
it's
Right. So what we should all keep in mind, because I'm, what I'm saying, obviously, like I'm an artist and everything, and kind of I don't understand completely because I'm not operating in the music business. It's kind of like I have one foot in and one foot out right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we got to understand, well, certain music is meant for certain things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a certain music, like, if you bring it to my home and shit like that, motherfucker, you going to put this, well, depending on who you fucking with, like, you know what I'm saying? You might put the slow jams on, the R&B feel good type shit, or, you might put on some trap music if it's just like, I don't know, like some people might like different things or whatever. But music at the end of the day is a feeling. It's what emotions sound like. It's what feelings sound like at the end of the day.
Expression.
Okay?
Yes.
Exactly. So if now, today, this is going on, aiding to your point, if you get overly sexualized like music, like, you know what I'm saying? If you see the majority of like the women who are out there who are dressed the way that they do, that shit look good. You feel me? It definitely look good. You know what I mean? But it ain't necessarily good for you. It's like crack. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's going to make people rich. It's going to feel good for the moment, but it's going to break you down. Like, you know what I'm saying? In the long run. Because I started finding myself, to keep it all the way real, like,
we love transparency.
Nah, listen. Like, real talk. Like, look, I'm like, like I'm a reader. You feel me? I'm definitely somebody who's well aware of who I am, where I want to go, where I came from, and what it really means to be conscious. I'm not just saying, oh, I'm woke because it's like something sexy to say or something like that. Like, no, like I really know what's going down. Like, I know what's going down for real. But at the end of the day, I'll still find myself looking at somebody like fucking Lotto or some shit like that.
And
or
be like, yo,
roll the dice on it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, real talk.
Can I say
would.
something?
Yeah.
Because I had to learn this too. When I first started my spiritual journey, I'm very, no, I can't do that. No, this doesn't align. No. But I'm understanding duality. I'm understanding, which gets into polarity again. I'm coming to understand shadow work. We are human. There's the light, there's the dark. It's an expression. Now, do I want to hear trappy, rappy, kill a nigga all night long in the house? No, I do not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I could tolerate it sometimes because it is a feeling, and it's like, yes, turn up. And it's a vibration without the words. You know what I'm saying?
It is. But that's what I'm saying. But okay, so if you want to go, I'm just using this as an example, okay? The reason why, Jesus in the Bible was so important is because he was born like everybody else. Okay, he was born. He was born like everybody else, of a mom and a dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, Joseph and Mary had sex and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And got him together. He wasn't born through immaculate conception at all. We know this. We know this for real. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but the bottom line is that all the other.
Be careful, Dre. It's like, no,
hey, look. Hey, you want to say? You want to get into it? Like,
no, I'm open. Let's go.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, all of the other Israelites, okay, that was supposed to follow God's law, broke his law, okay, and broke the laws and the commandments that was given to him. So Jesus was born amongst them, just like them, in poverty, and still kept his law. Didn't break anybody, overcame, you know what I'm saying, whatever, physical temptations that everybody else is faced with, to still serve his father or the creator. This is the importance of the story. This is why he said him, me and my father are one. It's not saying that I'm God or no shit like that or whatever. We're on the same accord.
Yes,
when you say you're a partner or whatever, me and my partner are one. Yes, we're on this. When you see him, you see me. You know why? Because everything that he put down, everything he put down for us, you feel me? I'm walking that shit. You feel me? And guess what? God loved his people, you feel me, as pertains to the story, loved his people so much that the one person who did right. So let's just say if you got 3 sons. Shout out to the ISUPK. Shout out to my boy Captain Katazai and General Muhammad. I'm sorry, excuse me. But he was breaking this shit down. He said, listen, let's just say if you had one father and you had 3 sons, okay? The 2 sons, were fucking up in school. They were getting kicked out of school. They was in and out of jail, selling drugs and shit like that. And then the one son who did everything right. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? The one son who did everything right. You know what I'm saying?
Example.
Yes. The one son that did everything right, the father, in order to give his other 2 sons
a
second chance, he gave up his only son that actually did the right thing.
Wow.
So now his sons, you know what I'm saying, in the name of his brother, you feel me, in honor of their father, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, we was fucking up this whole time. And he killed his own son so we could have a second chance. And we've been fucking up. We gotta honor our brother, you feel me, and honor, you feel me, our father, because if he can do all that and still love us to the point where he gave his own life, we don't have no room to fuck up no more. That's the
original. That was the original intention behind that, how it happened, right? Like but I don't feel like that carries out in day-to-day life.
No, it
for
doesn't.
People who follow that belief,
follow what belief?
Follow the belief of Jesus died, was sacrificed for all of our sins. Sure. Like that, people don't carry that with respect and say.
That's because they don't really believe what they say they believe at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Our version of Christianity now has been so like watered down, distorted, twisted, you know what I'm saying, from 325 AD, First Council of Nicaea. Look that up, you'll see exactly.
Say that again.
The First Council of Nicaea, 325 AD, Constantine, Emperor Constantine. There's other councils that happened in the 4th century and things like that, when it comes to the formation of what Christianity was going to be. Okay, the majority of people who follow Christianity today is not given like the real shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that you really have to look into when you actually starting to study the Bible. You have to know, you have to know certain things. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to know that, I'm just giving one example and I'm going to get back or whatever. But you have to know that, there were certain traditions that existed simultaneously during, the early, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd century. Okay, so you have to know that there was pretty much like 3 different groups of believers 3 different groups of followers of of the Torah. Okay, you had what's called the Jewish Christians, you had the Yahudim, and then you had I actually forgot what the 3rd group was. But long story short, one group only fucked with the New Testament. One group only fuck with the Old Testament, and then a 3rd group fuck with the Old and the New Testament. Okay, so
it's a whole lot of human shit happening.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of shit that's going on.
A whole lot of human shit.
A whole lot of shit was going on. So when you read like the New Testament and you start off, Matthew, and then you start, reading down from the genealogy of Jesus, and it says that, Mary, begot Jesus or whatever, and then it was like she was a virgin and different things like that. You have to understand that that's one of 1,000 different, texts.
Yeah.
That was the one that just so happened to survive, throughout these, thousands of years. The Syriac Sinaiticus, you can check that out. You feel me? Because if you look at that, which is actually older than the version of the book of Matthew that we still have today in our Bibles, it'll say that that Joseph begot Jesus and not the other way around. You see what I'm saying? It's like the whole idea of Immaculate Conception came from some place else. So when it comes down to it, people don't follow it because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
They don't know where this shit comes from. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when it's all down to it, like, Stevie Wonder said, you know what I'm saying, when you believe in things you don't understand, you know what I'm saying, you'll suffer.
Yeah, when you believe in things.
Yeah, talk
it's
that
superstitious.
Talk. Superstition.
Yeah. Good song.
Great song.
Something that brings me back to vibration though. And for the reason of, I feel like if there was Bible, Quran, everything very inspirational, lots of wisdom, lots of guidance in there. But I feel as though when you sit still, that like on your, they say the higher your vibration gets, there's something called the Akashic records. Have you ever heard of that? Where it's just something, it's information that you could tap into. I feel as though people look at these books and they're final, even though books are beautiful and they come filled with so much wisdom, but it opens and closes, and the words, of course, the interpretation can be different. No matter how many times you read it, you get something different depending on where your awareness is. But I feel like if you sit still and you get in tune with yourself, it's like you develop a sense of understanding and see the connection between these things without putting a religion on it, it's just a universal understanding, if you will. And that has to do with your vibration. The clearer your vibration is, the more knowing you have. That's been my experience.
Yeah. No, I think that it's about understanding, like, really who you are at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean? And
what we are.
Yeah, and when it comes down to it, I ain't gonna hold you. A lot of those guys, you know, who talk about, you know, metaphysics and, you know, different realms and shit like that or whatever. It's like, man, I don't believe none of that shit, to be honest with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that, I don't believe in none of that shit. Because the thing is like, I treat that like heaven and hell. Nobody's been to heaven and came back. Hell came back.
Yes.
I don't know nobody. Everybody keeps on telling these stories about how you vibrate to the point where you'll be able to teleport and go to different dimensions and all sorts of dumbass shit or whatever. Like, yo, bro, I don't know nobody who really did that before. Because, so it's like, how do we know? It's like a hustle, man, at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean?
But there are some metaphysical experiences that you cannot explain, the synchronicities, the knowing. Sometimes it's, and we're going to talk about this on our next episode about the clairaudience, the the intuition, energy reading. My partner will tell you, people will tell you, I'll say things and it happens, or like it's a knowing.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think it could just be a coincidence? Or
No,
would you not want to accept it?
I think it's because everything is connected and everything is information, and depending on how clear and conscious or where you at, how aware, you pick up information. Like I believe water holds memory. I believe if you drive over a bridge and you feel anxiety and you never felt anxiety before, maybe a car accident happened there, and that energy of that is still there as you're passing through it, the unseen. I believe that.
Can you prove it?
I cannot prove it.
Okay,
all I know is that I feel.
Right. So this is this is what I'm saying. And first of all, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm asking you these questions, you know, for a reason, because we have to challenge like our stance sometimes.
Definitely.
To really kind of like make reason of like when we start having conversations with people. So we're not necessarily like, you know, being dogmatic in a way to where it's like we're, you know, stopping our own growth at that point. Okay. So when you get all of these guys, like, you know, some people like Phil Valentine is one. You know who that is?
I'm not familiar with Phil Valentine.
Well, okay, without even getting, you know, there's different people who teach about these things, okay, who are very, you know, well known within their own communities. You know what I'm saying? Who teach about, you know, metaphysics and.
Mine was Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, Wayne Dwyer.
Okay, no, I don't know who that. I don't know who they are, but the thing is that when you say you're feeling. There's a comment that I made earlier.
Not emotional feeling. It'd be like a physical.
No, I understand. But the thing is that when we cannot describe what we're going through and those experiences, okay, then we start to create concepts.
That's the beautiful brain for us.
That's what it is.
To make it make sense.
Yeah, let's make it make sense, because I can't describe it. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than, like, and that's the reason why I said what I said before. How would the world be if the idea or the concept of God was void? It would be fucking chaos. You see what I'm saying? Like if people, because people wouldn't have a sense of, people wouldn't have a sense of direction. Like, you know what I'm saying? People wouldn't have a sense of purpose. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, people say, oh, we're God's favorite, you know, chosen people. That's like saying, you know, you got 2 or 3 brothers or sisters or whatever. I'm daddy's favorite.
I don't
I'm
believe
mom's
that.
favorite. That's okay.
I'm not a chosen. I believe I don't have no firm beliefs. I'm open and I have thoughts. Nothing is confirmed. Like you said, we don't know about heaven. We don't know about hell. Right? I believe that we're all on this experience and God is living through each and every one of us simultaneously.
I can get that simultaneously.
Yeah. I believe that. I believe nobody knows what happens when we leave here.
Nope. I agree with that.
I just believe we're supposed to keep growing and keep seeing and staying open and following what resonates with that antenna, that frequency. Yeah. That's it. Like you said, purpose. Yeah. It unfolds as we seek.
Yeah, we define.
Exactly.
Purpose. It's not like that. But that's because you didn't say anything to the contrary, like to what I was saying. Like we're actually saying the same thing. Yeah. What you know, just to clarify for all the listeners out there, my main point is that I don't think the majority of the people on this planet who belong to a religion, billions of people, any religion, any whatever, would be able to accept the fact that they are here, they exist, currently experiencing this thing that we call life, just because it's a coincidence. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just so happen to be on a planet that supports life in this form. That, you know what I'm saying, just so happened to, you know, allow a species, you know, human beings to exist in a way to where we can interact with each other the way that we can, and dialogue the way that we can, and collaborate on thoughts, you feel me, the way that we can, to build certain civilizations and, you know, on the level that we can. And that when it's all said and done, it's over, and then that's going to be it. When you die, it's over. And most people can't accept that and won't be able to accept it.
Yeah, they won't be able to accept that because there's a fear there. But once you come to understand that is what we are here to do, we are here to ultimately die, create and die.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
But you do have to make peace with that uncertainty of like what's going to happen.
Some people will never do it.
Yeah.
Because they have to have a purpose. They have to give their life meaning. And this is the reason why I was saying, so when I was wrapping up like a paper, are we truly ready for peace? My main point was, would we be able to accept that everything that we have grown to know and accept to be the truth as it pertains to our faith, our relation to who it is that we pray to, worship, you know, and how we carry ourselves, you know, as far as what we call spirituality, okay, to all be a lie? Would we still be able to support, protect, and grow amongst each other and preserve human life the way that the universe does, just because it's the right thing to do?
Nah, because of human nature.
Right.
Because of the ugly sides that we have. We would destroy each other.
So we're not ready.
We're not ready. And it's a shame. But I think we're getting there if we don't destroy ourselves in the process.
Fucking up now. Yeah.
We gotta bring it back though. We gotta bring it back to the John. We running through them. Polarity. Everything has its pair of opposites. Polarity.
Yeah.
I believe that to be everything is a spectrum. There's one end of the stick. There's two separate sides of the stick. Where are you on that spectrum? One balances the other. So
yeah, I was talking about that earlier when I was saying, because you know, like, I might be like super fucking conscious or whatever the fuck it is, but you know, shit, like, I didn't mind going to strip clubs, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind like fucking with that. Like, that's just it just is what it. Not trying to say that that's what polarity is. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could be smart and fuck with hoes or whatever. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm
Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah, now real talk, because hoes are fuck your pockets up. Like, you know what I mean?
Look, see,
Real
gang.
Talk. Yeah, credit score.
Leave them hold along.
500 credit score. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Yes, it'll fuck you up.
Ooh.
I'm not saying that's me.
I'm about to say.
No. Nah, I'm not saying that's
like
me.
You know that
but
journey.
I'm just letting you know.
Sorry.
Wait, we got story time.
No, we ain't got no story time. No, but it's just more like, I think that it's just polar, like I say, polar opposites.
Duality,
yes.
Yeah.
that shows up in my life every day, where I'm on my wellness kick, but I like to dance, and that is a form of my expression, and sometimes it comes out sexual, but that is also my nature. It's duality. I could be a holy goddess saint when I want to be, or I could be a filthy animal when I want to be. You know, that's duality, and that's the beautiful thing about the human experience, because we get to play.
Yeah, no, I think that people don't accept contradictions.
And but life is it's a, what's the word? A paradox.
Yeah.
It's all a paradox.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's like, all right, so you're in front of the camera, so it's like, anybody who's in front of the camera, you know what I mean, they have like it's a whole idea of like branding. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to, you know, live up to a certain image or an idea that you create in your followers or viewers' mind. And anything that's to the contrary of that, you might like fuck up your business, because now it's like, no, well, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like what, you know, like Michael Jackson and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? He was like the greatest person of all time. And then they started throwing a wrench into his whole identity, because, you know, saying that he fucking with kids, even though that was a lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, it's like, this is what we're, so like the idea that you have of Michael Jackson, global, international icon. Like, I grew up with Michael since he was little or whatever, and now he's messing with kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, like, it's messing up everything. It's like, you know what that's like? That's like your parents telling you Santa Claus wasn't real. You found out Santa Claus was real. Fucked everything up. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, damn, I thought this nigga was coming down the
And
chimney.
that's why my kids don't
cookies
believe in
and milk.
Santa
Like,
now.
you know what I'm saying? And it was you, like, this whole time. Like, this is crazy. So it's kind of like that.
I'm with you on I feel like it's necessary being in a club, you know, being conscious, but then being in a club, it's a balance. I feel like you do need to be exposed to both sides to stay in the know.
Yeah, I grew out of that though.
Yeah.
I'm done.
There's other ways to let that shadow play though.
I know, but I'm just saying the club ain't it though. You know what I mean? Like I think I just grew tired of that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cuz I'm not really like a drinker no more. I'm just looking at like, you know what it started being for me? Like once I started getting into what I was getting into and, you know, studying or whatever, then I started having conversations with, you know, girls and shit like that. And I'm just like, damn, like, yo, like you are really like so like out of touch with reality. Is ridiculous.
I see.
And then I kind of started feeling like I had to dumb myself down.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? To fuck with you or whatever. And I was like, I can't really do that. That's why I've always, for the most part, the majority of my life, always dated older. You know what I'm saying? Whether they were 5 years, 10, 15, 20.
How old are you?
Years. I'm 30.
30. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. It was
I'm
always
33.
like
I'm
that.
in that Christ consciousness.
31.
Yeah, 31. Okay. Yeah, but that's all it was, though.
Let me get right back to it. Everything you're sharing is great.
I appreciate it.
I'm loving this episode. Gender. This is going to be an interesting
Yeah,
one.
I remember this.
The law of gender. Gender manifests on all planes, and by gender that means estrogen, testosterone. That means the reproductive, two elements coming together to reproduce. Right?
Oh, go look at me. I'm listening.
All right.
What you got for that one?
Yeah, so basically, what the book was basically talking about, it's not talking about, you know, physical genders. It's talking about taking the attributes of, you know, the masculine energy
Okay.
and the feminine, okay, and recognizing how, you know, that goes on every day in nature.
It exists in every person.
And in the universe. So, on a lower level, okay, when we start talking about, you know, bringing, you know, new life into this world. Okay, we all know how babies are made or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The man, you feel me, inserts himself, you know, in the female, and then in the, you know, in the stomach or the womb of a woman, a baby is born, grown, and then, you know, brought into this world, right? Okay, so on a higher level, what it was breaking down is that the entire
Cosmos
universe, you know, what we call outer space, okay, holds planets, galaxies, different stars, solar systems, or whatever the case may be. Okay, so this is the life. Okay, but where does a star come from? Where does a planet come from? It comes out of nowhere. It's no different than rain. Okay, hydrogen, oxygen mixed together. You know what I'm saying? And then it brings forth something. It's the same thing with, you know, the outer space and everything that's in outer space being the womb or whatever. Okay, so the womb or whatever is the
universe.
Well, yes, the universe would be, I'm trying to think, would act as the womb, and then thought, okay, would act as the masculine energy or whatever, which now planting the seed or whatever.
Planet.
So now, boom, a planet, damn, a galaxy, damn this or whatever. Like, you see what I'm saying? And this is what happens. And on a lower level, it's displayed through sex.
It's so expansive.
Yeah. Yeah. On a higher level, it's basically everything that we have.
From trees to pollination, all of that, masculine, feminine plays out on everything. Everything. Yes. The sand in the ocean washing up, all of it.
That's what it is. That's exactly
the law of gender.
What it is, for sure. That's the law of gender. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I like how we brought that back to nature. Sum that up. The law of rhythm. Ooh, everything flows out and in. I feel like I see patterns when I think of that. The law of rhythm, patterns like seasons, cycles, the spiral. Like, that's what I envision when I think of the law of rhythm. It flows.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure. I kind of forgot, like, the rhythm part.
Let me see. I have another. See, nothing is permanent. everything is constantly flowing. That's like the universal law. When we go into like the more modernized turn, everything is always moving. Everything is always in motion. Nothing is permanent.
Okay.
Change is inevitable.
Yeah. Things are constantly changing. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. I got you.
I like that
agree with
one.
I like that one too.
And
like,
see, look, for the universal laws, go ahead, Yeezy.
oh, I was gonna say, like, it's like you don't possess anything in this world. You just experience it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And that's
like that.
and that's what I respect about Buddhism, the impermanence, like just their acceptance of what is.
Just enjoy
just
the
the
present.
isness. Exactly. Just
Yeah.
come back. Everything comes back to this moment. This moment. This moment.
Wow.
Like that's it. And that's all we have.
Right.
Everything else is an idea or a memory, which doesn't exist anymore. It's not in
Yeah.
the physical. So
Yeah.
that's crazy. It's mind blowing shit.
Yeah, nah, real talk.
It's
Nah, it
mind-blowing
is.
shit. On the universal laws, it says the law of gender has to do with manifestation requires a balance of energies. I like how they sum that up too.
Like even with that, like where does an idea come from?
Source.
Out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Stars, everything else. Like, you know what I mean? Everything is like just,
It's just an expression.
yeah, like
Yeah.
exactly. Well, what I'm saying is like, let's just say if you're trying to find like, I don't know, like you're trying to solve a problem or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, I'm sitting there thinking, and then, oh, boom, damn, that shit just comes out of,
See, we talked about this on the last episode too.
Yeah.
It's like the moment a problem exists, there's a solution somewhere hanging in the same vicinity because it just is.
yeah. And that's pretty much like how like gender, like, you know what I mean, on that level, you know,
Yeah.
plays. It's like the same way that thought for me just came out of nowhere, because it came out of nowhere at the end of the day, because it just hits you. It's like, oh, no, this is what I got to do. I got an idea, like, you know what I'm saying? And this is it's the same thing with everything else, like this planet, everything, like, you know what I mean? And that's the gender, yeah.
The last one for the seven Hermetic
Cause
principles.
and effect.
Yes. Cause and effect.
Yeah.
So every action has a reaction.
Every action has a
Yes.
consequence. Yes. I feel like that is so self-explanatory. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. It's cause and effect.
Yeah.
For the 12 universal laws, though, really
Yeah,
quickly,
sure.
there is the law of action, which has to do with manifestation requires aligned action. That's the law of action. So if you want to be whoever you envision yourself to be, you need to start acting like you are that person. You need to start. You can't wait for things to show up. No, you have to take aligned action.
Yeah.
That is the law of action.
Yeah.
There's the law of compensation. We are rewarded for the right actions. That's the law of compensation. That is a universal law. So like this podcast, we keep sowing seeds. Like your journey as an artist, you keep sowing seeds. Eventually the harvest will come, because that is that constant action, that constant, what is it? You're going to be compensated for your work. I feel like that's a law, unless you're just being cheated. And that's fucked up.
That's a reality. That's a reality. I don't, you know what? Let me tell you something. Well, go ahead. Finish going through.
No, we done the list. Now it's just, we got to wrap up at some point.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna just say that when it comes to that, like sometimes, like I'm always gonna try to uplift people as much as I possibly can. Like, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's hard. It's really hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? To tell somebody that, everything is gonna be all right. Sometimes, like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not always going to be all right.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Period.
Sometimes it's not going to be all right. Like, you
Right.
got people who, would like to believe that, well, everything happens for a reason. That just helps people cope with whatever it is that they're going through.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that shit is not the truth. Like, sometimes we got to, yeah.
But that brings us to another law, the law of relativity. Everything is related. Everything, when they say everything does happen for a reason, I believe that's one of those things where it's like we just can't wrap our minds around it. Everything is a system, a pattern, a cycle. I can't speak to individual when fucked up things happen in people's lives, and it's like, you'll get through it. It's unfortunate, but everything happens for a reason. Some of that should be bullshit, but it's a catalyst for change sometimes, and it brings forth better and new and refreshing.
Okay, so the key word that you had was sometimes. So what about the other times?
Yeah.
That's the part of the uncertainty where it's just like you just got to trust and know and stay the path.
Yeah, I think that's like sometimes like a politically correct answer for people for people to say to
safe.
kind of help. Yeah, it's a safe thing for people to say. It's like it's like when you go to church and shit like that.
Joy
You know
comes
what I'm
in the
saying?
morning.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you go to church.
Right.
Not all the time.
And then,
Right.
and then the pastor tells you everything is going to be all right and keep hope alive and all that dumbass shit or whatever. But it's like they're not helping you do shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not helping you do shit or whatever. And then shit don't get better.
That's where action, the law of act, you must take action.
Of what action?
I'm just thinking of when you're like, when preachers say it's going to be okay without giving you any guidance on how to process that pain or how to transmute it or alchemize it. Like, you do have to do something with that.
Some people, listen, the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because the reality is some people don't make it out. They don't. Some motherfuckers get their lives taken.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a mistake that can cost them their lives, their freedom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people lose, you know, and invest everything that they have into somebody to find out that that person who they invested their love in, trust, energy, everything, and lost, you know what I'm saying, and found out that that person wasn't who they thought they were at the end of the road. Like, you know, some people can't fucking handle that shit. You feel me? I'm just talking about relationships, but there's many other situations and circumstances or whatever that play out every single day to where people do not make it out. So it's our responsibility. This is what I'm saying. Now, it's our responsibility for those people who we have influence over, whether it's your kids, whether it's your brother, your sister, girlfriend, wife, husband, fiance, uncle, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or just somebody who you might run across in the supermarket or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's our job as a people, as a collective, you know what I'm saying, to service those who are in need to the best of our ability. Because sometimes you don't know what a simple conversation you feel me can have
impact.
It can impact on somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? And we have to do that as a collective. You don't have to give 100% if 100 people give 1%. Like, you know what I'm saying? If we all take care of each other like we would like to take care of, like how we take care of ourselves.
Very important.
Then, you know what I'm saying, we will be good. But that's in a perfect world. Like, you know what I mean? I just like to keep it real. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know that there's people who the shit ain't just, it just ain't going to be all right.
There will never be a perfect, because perfect is subjective, but there will never, like when you say, are we ready for peace? It's like, even if everybody, there's still duality. There's still, that is a law. Just the same way we see rainbows and butterflies, we see tidal waves and fucking, like, it's just natural order. It's going to be some chaos. So you got to be okay with that.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this too. When it comes down to the Hermetic law, I say this, I made a statement about this before, but we have to understand that just because the Hermetic laws are very sophisticated in the way that they communicate the lesson does not make it true. It doesn't make it true because the bottom line is that, again, these Hermetic laws are just like religion. Man-made concepts to help people better understand what we have going on, but it does not make it true at the end of the day. So with that being, we have to be...
That's a beautiful way to wrap it up. Yes, come on.
All right, that's it. I'm good.
No. I'm not shutting you down. I'm just like, even though we're discussing this, it's still seek.
Yeah, we
use this as a tool.
Man. We have to, as a people, be humble enough to say that we don't fucking know.
And that's what it all comes down to. And that's why we are here to question and challenge what is known, what people believe to be.
Yeah.
Because it's a big world with a lot of ideas and a lot of different beliefs, but we all here.
Yeah, like
heart beating the same.
I'll say it like this: when it comes to belief, right? What color is my shirt? My mother, black, right? Do we gotta believe that the shirt is black, or do we know the shirt is black? We don't have to believe that the fucking shirt is black because we know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So whenever somebody say, "Oh, you know, I believe this and I feel like this," that's an indication that they really don't know. And there's no problem with that. But we can't start using how we feel.
I like that though. That makes me look at myself.
It's the truth. Because it ain't. It's our truth, but not there's no absolute truth.
No absolute truth
things.
At all.
You know what I mean? And
unless it's like math.
You feel me? I'll holler at y'all later.
Thank you, Dre. Thank you for coming, Mr. Dre Lloyd.
I appreciate y'all.
Definitely very insightful. A lot to digest here. Our viewers, I know this isn't something that you're used to seeing. We usually kick it off with some relational topics, but we want to expand the conversation and invite you to seek information that you can use on your journey. Nobody's journey is the same, but these principles can get you far. It can help you understand the way things work on a universal level. Expand your mind.
I know
Facts.
I learned a lot today.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. And like that, we're going to wrap it up one time for the one time. Make sure y'all check out Dre Lloyd online on Instagram. Go ahead, tell the people where they can find you.
All right, so if you want to follow me, man, you can follow me on all social media platforms, Dre Lloyd online.
Boom.
So at DRELLOYD online. You feel me? Look out for me, man, because I definitely got a lot of exciting things coming. So
we see you.
Get at me.
We see you.
Yeah, fingers crossed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get that together.
Stay the path. We believe in you.
I appreciate it.
Just like that, episode 15 is a wrap.
Yes.
And we're going to see you next time on the Warlock Horrors.
Bye.